worlds apart. It's fucked now, we lost in limbo. Remembering what you said though, and I asked you if we'd make it far. That one last kiss that they write about, my one last wish you could never doubt. I trust angels who fly away from you, and you told me that we'd never die. Gave me so many reasons why we were meant to be. Then she said no, 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 no. No, 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 you should. I've earned the cost and now I've paid it. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, please don't go. I know my face a memory erasing. Been a few years since I heard your voice, yeah. Lost a few here, but it's not by choice, no. Girl, I see your face every day when I look through my phone. Can't delete all these memories, won't leave me alone. Hit my blind side, never saw you coming. You were so wild, but no, I was nothing. And I'm nothing now, nothing's changed. You know I'm just the same. Miss you now, but I hope that someday you explain. That one last kiss that they write about, my one last wish you could never doubt. I trust angels who fly away from you, and you told me that we'd never die. Gave me so many reasons why we were meant to be.
Hello world, how are we doing? Hope you're doing well. Mic check. Mic check. Let me know if this thing is on. I'm trying to keep my air a little lower. How's everyone doing? Hope you're well. Good morning, good morning. Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. So we've got some talking to do. First of all, I need you to hit that thumbs up button. Give me a thumbs up, please. So it Mike in the house, yeah, Adrian. So we can get this out there. I would really appreciate it. So the other day, Don Wells called into No Thanks, also known as Doug, and we were listening to it, and we've really got some Don needs he needs to explain something. He definitely needs to explain something. I need to text someone, just 2 seconds, bear with me. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. So, mods, please put Doug's information where they can see the full video in chat. I also gave Doug the credit in the description for the replay viewers. You can find it in the description to that video. Oh, he definitely needs to explain a lot, but I'm surprised no one caught this, or if maybe they did. Nobody's talked about that I'm aware of. But we're gonna start, and yeah, I think it's pretty up there. Let me find it here. Give me 2 seconds. I should have had it pulled up, but I think I did have it pulled up, maybe. Okay, here we go. I forgot my mouse today. So,
this is not the number that I'm going to keep. So, I'll text you from.
Okay, maybe it was. Let me find the spell.
I'm try to keep us in order here and keep it respectful. I'm not here.
I'm going to put a banner up. Bear with me for 1 second.
To damage you or your persona or help you lose a job. Let's take that out of the equation, because on a phone call with me and you, excuse me, I'm listening.
For someone, yes, I know.
Are you worried about your boys right now, where they're at? Are they there? Because they're very safe. They're very safe, right?
They're in a very good place. They're being well taken care of. We talk to,
remember
people,
that. Can you do me a favor and remember that at this time? I know you want them back, and I'm not saying you'll never get them back on, but it's going to take some work, and stuff that we could help you with. I have no problem helping you with that work, as long as you guys are doing the work, right? Like it really helps.
We're doing all kinds of stuff. We're doing everything they ask us, and we're complying with everything. We're trying hard.
Okay. So having a pinky swear and an online resolution here, like
I see you. Do you remember where it was? Maybe it's one up here.
And resolution here, like again, I even took off the spackle hat. I know you're hard work. And resolution here, like can we play the funny stuff about Jody Sue and stuff? Is that cool?
It's not my show, brother. It's your show.
I don't want to offend. Well, she was so different than your other.
We're doing all kinds of stuff. We're doing everything they ask us, and we're complying with everything. We're trying hard.
Okay. So having a pinky swear and an
give me a second.
Play the funny stuff about Jody Sue.
It's your show, man. You're gonna do what you do. It's not.
All right. So I'm gonna drop all the comedy. I'm gonna drop all the comedy out of this case.
Absolutely.
So if we go back to June 15th, Don.
Okay, here we start. We're about to start. June 15th. June 15th is where we're starting here. Listen very, very carefully. Oh, crap. The words.
We've talked about this, and if it gets too uncomfortable, please stop me. I just want to, I want to take it back to that. I think the timeline is most important to find out what happened to your daughter, okay? And who was with her last, and things of that nature. And if it gets uncomfortable, I get it. And if you think it's going to, again, I don't want to bring up your boys any longer, okay? Done.
Can I try to just shorten it up real quick?
Sure.
Sum it up?
Sure.
What Candus has said, I believe to be 100% accurate. I had it in my mind that I was just going to cuss her out. I was just going to lay into her so hard. And when I seen how brokenhearted she was and how mentally numb she was and everything, I couldn't say anything to her at all. She was absolutely broken, and then all this YouTube stuff added to it and everything has just really just broken us down way more, than we already are. But yeah, we've made a lot of mistakes. Should have never picked up any alcohol. Trying to kill the.
So I will say here that he does sound sober. That is for sure. He does sound sober in this, which is a good thing. Candus sounds sober. That's a good thing. But he's going to describe the day up here. And that's where I got a lot of questions, guys. A lot of questions. So just wait for it.
The pain, but that didn't help at all. It just made it worse. But I believe my wife 100%. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, she's made a lot of mistakes too, and believed in certain YouTubers and stuff like that, and they let her down dark roads, everything else, But anyways, I'm probably gonna have to get off here.
Can I ask you a few more things, or do you have a few more minutes for me, or can you, or do you stop, or do you have to go at the second? We can do this again if you want.
Ask me one more thing, I guess. But I do have.
Okay. Did Summer go with Candus in the morning to the ER?
I don't. I was at work and I called and they said that they was waiting on some prescriptions or something. And
Okay, right there, he says he's basically saying he doesn't say yes. He doesn't say yes. Candus went, or Summer went with Candus that morning to the hospital. He acts like, oh, I just don't know. I know that they picked up prescriptions. He's not fully answering the question. I'm having issues with audio. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? He just said basically, I don't know. But just wait. You just wait till what he says. Okay. You can hear me. Thank you, Husky.
all I know is Allie begged her to come pick up Hunter and take him to the lake while they were waiting on the prescription. That's all I know. And I seen the footage where there's at the lake. I seen the picture. The very last picture she got was with her asleep by the milk jugs. That was the last picture.
Do you know for a fact that was that?
Okay. This is a big thing. I don't have my mouse, guys, and it's so much harder to do it with your fingers. All right. He says the last picture that we have of Summer is on the milk jugs. You just heard it. What vehicle were they in with the milk jugs? What vehicle? I know. Yes, Vet Girl. Bingo. The picture in the truck. Silverado. Yes, the truck. Okay. Keep listening.
That day, Don?
Yes, because I decided to stay at work longer because they wasn't going to be home. So I thought, oh, I'll just get a couple more hours in. And that's when they got home. I was sitting talking to one of my buddies on the job site for a long time. We probably sit and talk for an hour and 15 minutes. And then
Okay. There. Now get this, guys. Don Wells knows exactly an hour and 15 minutes he sat there and talked to his friend at work. He knows that time. But he doesn't know what time he left of the morning, what time the calls came in, what time he got where, this and that, right? Doesn't remember that, but he remembers that it was an hour and 15 minutes that he talked to his friend. He remembers that hour and 15 minutes. Cool. It's amazing how he doesn't remember. He remembers the time he talked to his friend, but he doesn't remember anything when it comes to his missing daughter. Okay. Let's continue.
I got that phone call and I started throwing my tools in the Subaru and hauled ass for the house.
Why did you take the Subaru from Candus and that day? Did you?
Well, I I didn't take it from her. She had my Suburban and other vehicles. We had all kinds of vehicles at the time.
Why'd you switch it up though? Is what I'm saying, because I said something that I want to retract right now if it's not true. It was when I said that it was a power play because I thought Don was mad at Candus and he took it from her.
Well, no, nothing like that. It's just that I wanted to put some miles on the Subaru. I was paying all kinds of money for it, and I thought, well, I'll use it for a while and put some miles on it, let my truck sit and rest for a while. And she had that nice Suburban, and yeah.
What was that, Don? What did you say? What did you say? Did you guys notice that? She had that nice Suburban, which is not the truck. She had that nice Suburban. He got a call at 5:30, maybe he said. So when Candus Wells called him, he told her that to call law enforcement. That would make the call to law enforcement around 5:30. When the call was 6:30. That is exactly right, Bet Girl. An extra hour. An extra hour. That's exactly right. Now remember, she has that nice Suburban. God, I wish I had my mouse.
I was fixing up, had all kinds of money tied up in that thing.
How in fact, what time did you leave on June 15th for work? Because I haven't.
I'm a little mixed up on that, to be honest with you. I mean, I thought I got the phone call around.
So he's mixed up on that because why? You're not mixed up on spending an hour and 15 minutes with your friend. You're not mixed up on when it benefits you. You're not mixed up on anything like that, are you? Isn't that interesting? Let's continue.
5:30 or so, but really, honestly, I cannot be sure. And then we went and looked in our phones to find out exactly, because we was working the timeline with the TBI, which nobody has the timeline but me, Candus, and TBI. We're the only ones that have the timeline. So anybody who claims to have a timeline, no way.
I'd say I'm 90% sure that I'm pretty close on my timeline with what happened that day and who was with me.
Yeah. And I'm not absolutely sure. And we checked our phones, and for some reason when they took our phones, they took that part of our phones. And I probably shouldn't say that, but
so that's another thing. He says they took the phones, and Candus's, Grandis's, and Don's are magically erased from 3 o'clock, I think 3 to 6 o'clock. They just make a copy of everything on your phone. They don't delete anything. Timeline: you got the call at 5:30 and told Candus Wells to call law enforcement 911. Call when 6:30. Yes. Yeah, you got that call at 5:30, Dawn, and she didn't call till 6:30. That's interesting. So interesting, Dawn. Let's continue.
But I'm really not sure, to be honest with you.
So Candus said in one of the phone calls when we were talking, and I just played it actually, and I think you were hearing it, is she said, Hunter's the one that called me that morning. When you told me in a previous phone call before this happened that Hunter wasn't allowed at the house that day, and you don't know, or she didn't know if Hunter was at the house that day. But Candus knows, I believe, if Hunter was there that day, because she would have had to bring him there, right?
Yeah, he wasn't. I don't think he was here that day, no. Because Allie called.
You don't think he was there, but like if he was at, if he was picked up in the morning time after Candus, because Candus went and grabbed him while after the hospital. That's why I was asking, was Summer with her? Because I don't believe she put Summer in her bathing suit until later in the day, like she said, and it would have been at her house. So
All right, guys, listen to this. Listen to this. I want you to listen very, very carefully, because Dawn is talking about, well, actually, Doug here from No Thinks, he is talking about the bathing suit. Hey, Rap, hope you're feeling better, buddy. Been praying for you. But going back to this, Doug is talking about how the bathing suit thing. And I want you to listen very carefully about what Don replies about the bathing suit. Remember, he is saying about the Suburban. Well, she had that Suburban. But listen to what Don says, what is in the Suburban. He slipped, in my opinion. Listen. Hold on.
I believe Summer was left at home. So I'm wondering if she grabbed Hunter and then brought him back to your house, because that would have been the first time that day that he would have been back there.
She kept swimming stuff in the Suburban for the kids, because we put the canoe on top of the Suburban.
Oh my God. Did you guys catch that? He was talking that she was always driving in the Suburban. You're getting what I'm thinking, Beck. Yes, you're getting it, Beck Girl. He said she always kept the bathing suits in the Suburban. In the Suburban. Really, Don? That's the first we knew it. So, what does that mean? What does that mean? Does it mean they was in the truck at some point that day, and then they were in the Suburban later? Did they take separate vehicles? Is Summers, because TBI has TBI ever said publicly that the milk jug photo was from that day? He just put Candus Wells in the Suburban, not the truck where the video was taken. That's exactly right. Yeah, I don't think that, because Candus and Dawn put out that video. TBI has never put out the milk jug video. TBI has never put out the milk jug video. So my question is that milk jug video the same day? Or was it the day before? Anyone ever hear about the Suburban that day? No. It's never been about the Suburban. Now, guys, get this. What did they do with that Suburban right after Summer went missing? What did they do with it? They sold it for $1,000. I've been there when Dolly's there. That's right, Carrie. They sold it for $1,000. Yeah, they had camera proof that they was at Walgreens. Absolutely. That doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. And remember, they was originally going fishing. But Dawn said she kept the bathing suits in the Suburban. They didn't say what vehicle the footage was taken in. I think the milk jug photo was taken in the truck, but I'm not convinced either that it was that day, because the TBI has not ever put that out. That, or they had play it again. Okay. We'll play it straight through.
Did you?
Well, I didn't take it from her. She had my Suburban and other, everything else, But anyways, I'm probably gonna have to get off here.
Can I ask you a few more things, or do you have a few more minutes for me, or can you, or do you stop, or do you have to go at the second? We can do this again if you want.
Ask me one more thing, I guess. But I do have.
Okay. Did Summer go with Candus in the morning to the ER?
I don't. I was at work and I called and they said that they was waiting on some prescriptions or something, and all I know was Allie begged her to come pick up Hunter and take him to the leg while they were waiting on the prescription. That's all I know. And I seen the footage where there's at the leg. I seen the picture. The very last picture she got was with her asleep by the milk jugs. That was the last picture.
Do you know?
So the last picture, Dawn says, was at the milk jugs. Okay. Last picture / very quick video.
No, for a fact that was that day, Dawn?
Yes, because I decided to stay at work longer because they wasn't going to be home. So I thought, well, I'll just get a couple more hours in, and that's when they got home, I was sitting talking to one of my buddies on the job site for a long time. We probably sit and talk for an hour and 15 minutes. And then I got that phone call, and I started throwing my tools in the Subaru and hauled ass for the house.
Why did you take the Subaru from Candus and that day? Did you?
Well, I didn't take it from her. She had my Suburban and other vehicles. We had all kinds of vehicles.
There we go. I didn't take it from her. She had the Suburban. Yeah, that's a good question, my ranch. Why would she leave 3 boys at home and just take Summer and be gone all day and take a random boy and Summer swimming when she could have taken all the kids?
Why'd you switch it up though? Is what I'm saying, because I said something that I want to retract right now if it's not true. It was when I said that it was a power play because I thought Don was mad at Candus and he took it from her.
Well, no, nothing like that. It's just that I wanted to put some miles on the Subaru. I was paying all kinds of money for it, and I thought, well, I'll use it for a while and put some miles on it, let my truck sit and rest for a while. And she had that nice Suburban, and
there he goes. He says it again. She had that nice Suburban. He says it twice. Twice. She had that Suburban. She had that nice Suburban.
that I was fixing up, had all kinds of money tied up in that thing.
How in fact, what time did you leave on June 15th for work? Because I haven't.
Oh, I'm a little mixed up on that, to be honest with you. I mean, I thought I got the phone call around 5:30 or so, but really, honestly, I cannot be sure. And then we went and looked in our phones to find out exactly, because we was working the timeline with the TBI, which nobody has the timeline but me, Candus, and TBI. We're the only ones that have the timeline. So anybody who claims to have a timeline, no way.
I'd say I'm 90% sure that I'm pretty close on my timeline with what happened that day and who was with me.
Yeah. And I'm not absolutely sure. And we checked our phones, and for some reason when they took our phones, they took that part of our phones. And I probably shouldn't say that, but I'm really not sure, to be honest with you.
So Candus said in one of the phone calls when we were talking, and I just played it actually, and I think you were hearing it, is she said, Hunter's the one that called me that morning. When you told me in a previous phone call before this happened that Hunter wasn't allowed at the house that day, and you don't know, or she didn't know if Hunter was at the house that day. But Candus knows, I believe, if Hunter was there that day, because she would have had to bring him there, right?
Yeah, he wasn't. I don't think he was here that day, no. Because Allie called.
You don't think he was there, but like if he was at, if he was picked up in the morning time after Candus, because Candus went and grabbed him while after the hospital. That's why I was asking, was Summer with her? Because I don't believe she put Summer in her bathing suit until later in the day, like she said, and it would have been at her house. So I believe Summer was left at home. So I'm wondering if she grabbed Hunter and then brought him back to your house, because that would have been the first time that day that he would have been back there.
She kept swimming stuff in the Suburban for the kids, because we put the canoe on top of the Suburban.
There he goes, the Suburban again. The Suburban again. Well, she kept swimming trunks and bathing suits, whatever, in that Suburban. He has talked about that Suburban 3 times. TBI, yes, said she went missing in early afternoon. And early afternoon is defined as 1 to 3 o'clock. That is correct. And the first call went in at 6:30. And Don says he thought it was 5:30. but magically his phones, magically Candus's phone, magically Grandis's phone were magically deleted from 3 o'clock onward. But where is the bathing suit Summer wore that day? But where is the bathing suit Summer wore that day, the wet one? Good question. The Subaru that mysteriously got sold for $1,000. Bingo! Yes, yes, that one. That one. I think they may have been in the truck at some point that day. But I also think that they were in that Suburban. Maybe Grandis was driving it one. Maybe I don't know. That I don't know. But I believe the Suburban is part of this story. I believe it's part of this story. I see you. If someone's just being a negative Nancy, just block them, honey. We're not worried about them. So, that's the question. Yeah, I think there is so much more that happened. Thank you, Vet Girl. Subaru new vehicle added on June 15th, and Candus Wells in the Suburban, not the truck. Candus Wells called him at 5:30 and loaded tools and left. He told Candus Wells to call 911, correct? That would have made the 911 call around 5:30 ish, not 6:30. But the call came in at 6:30. In my opinion, he played for 2 years by the characters involved. Yeah. I think they took more than one car because they said Grandma truck was at the horse barn. You know, Mean Gene, I was thinking about that. Because they said the horse stables, if you believe the horse stables, they have no reason to lie. They have absolutely no reason to lie. They said that the vehicle was at the horse pond nearly all day. So they didn't say they were at the horse pond all day. They said the vehicle was at the horse pond nearly all day. So, did they have another car? Now, I predict that Dawn is going to loopy-loop something now. Change clothes four times of the clothes in milk jugs ain't what she was wearing when reported missing. Yes. Yes. And this is my thing. Did TBI ever do forensics on that Suburban? Did they? And if they didn't, oh my God. Oh, see? Marlena, there you go. You're telepathic right now. That's exactly what I'm saying. Now, why would they sell that Suburban that Don had put a lot of money in? He's been out of jail since October, yes. Why, when you see, for instance, like the Idaho 4's parents, they're up there, kind of furious at the police, saying, we need to get this done. We need to get this done. We need to get this done. And then you have Don and Candus over there. Oh, well, go ahead. They got my number. They can call me whenever, we miss summer. We miss summer. Can't we all just get along? No, we can't, because you're not telling us at all. You're not telling it. You are not telling the full story. Someone said she sold it to Kathy. Hold on. Where was that comment? Maybe that Kathy and Don. That's why Kathy. No, that's not why Kathy and Don don't talk. Well, it's just like, oh, hey, Trevor, if you want to come up. Thank you, Southern Girl, for your super sticker. Come on up, Trev. So yeah, something's just not right here. He has never talked about that Suburban and a bathing suit being, water clothes, and a canoe. He has never talked about it until the other day. Only 2 inventory sheets shown on YouTube from vehicle. Why not more? That's the question, Batgirl. I wonder. There's only 2 inventory sheets. One would be a Subaru, and the other one would be the truck. It's like is it a Sonoma or something like that? Silverado, maybe. I think it's a Sonoma, though. Hasn't been since day one. Trevor.
Good morning.
Morning. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. What do you think about this?
Well, I think at the very least it throws a wrench in the whole normal day image they try to put out, that they just, went along with their normal day, went and did some fun things, took care of some errands, and came home. Because if you're switching vehicles like that, there's more to it than just you were going out for a fun day.
Does Kathy still have that? Does Kathy still have that? Because if she still has that, I think that's very important. Yeah, drop Trevor's link, please. He's never talked about the Suburban.
No.
And bathing suits being in the Suburban. Because remember, everyone in the beginning was like, well, y'all said you were going fishing. And then y'all turned it into swimming.
Yeah.
So where did you get the bathing suits? You know what I mean?
Right.
And now he's like, oh, he said the Suburban 3 times.
Oh, no, he 100%. Yeah, he tripled down on it. I mean, he most definitely meant that when he said it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'd hear more of that if he called into shows like that more and was asked questions instead of, just hanging out places.
Hey, Killer, when I was in Rogersville, I think last June, someone was up there on the hill and they were getting that canoe. He didn't realize what he was saying, I don't think, until you can only hold lies for so long with in something like this, especially as public as they are. I mean, chat needs a hold on, what was that? Chat need a firm of what year that was sold to the person. The Suburban was Grandis's truck. The Suburban, Don says it was his.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Grandis's. You're thinking of the Silverado, maybe, or is it Silverado or Sonoma? Do you remember which one it was?
I think it's a Sonoma, but
I think it was a Sonoma too, but people always call it a Silverado for some reason. But I think it was a Sonoma. Yes, Trevor has a channel. Drop his link, mods, please. Mm-hmm. Regardless, they need to look at that card.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion.
As far as I was told, and I mean, no way to know this for sure, but that they looked at all 3 of the vehicles and chose not to seize them. I guess they said they didn't find anything in them worthy of taking the cars further.
I think they need to ask Don these questions. I'm telling you, something's off. Yeah, I like Doug's Winston in the back. That is cool. That's cool. Could the canoe have been on top of the truck in drive? That would have been Reggie's. Could the canoe have been on top of the truck in drive? Do you know what color the canoe is? Is it red?
No.
That's a good question. White truck, red Subaru, grandma truck, no mention of green Suburban. I don't know, but it's he has never ever talked about that Suburban other than the fact that it was sold and he's put a lot of money into it that I'm aware of. And he said it. He said that on someone's channel. I don't. You remember what channel it was, Trevor, that he said that on?
That he said which?
The Suburban, where he said he sold it. He said it on someone's panel that he sold it.
I remember hearing that clipped, but I'm not sure. I remember where he said it.
Was it Smiley? Was it yours? Pic of it on. Yes, yeah, that was right after Summer went missing. Yes, Candus sold it for $1,000. $1,000. Do you remember which live it was, Smiley? Talked about the Suburban hitting the driveway. What do you mean hitting the driveway? It was sold sometimes when he was in jail. You know, you know what year it is, Trevor?
No, I don't.
Okay. He said he wasn't mad at her. I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Trevor? You think someone they had to use? Okay. They had to use more than that truck that day.
Right. Which just makes you wonder. It's like, so they took the Suburban per se to go swim, right? Because it has the swim stuff in it. Then you go all the way home, switch to the truck, and then get your groceries in the truck because the milk is in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
So why go, especially when you're like them and you live far, like a decent way from where everything is. Like, there's
Right.
not a street. You do everything in town and then go home.
Yes.
So why go all the way home, switch to the truck, get groceries, and then come home?
Yeah. Why? Now, to your knowledge, has the TBI ever said they've never put out that milk photo? Candus and Don put out that milk photo, right?
Yeah, I think it may have been when they first released the endangered child alert. I think it was actually on there, but they never said it was from that day. They just were releasing photos as they were getting them of Summer, what she looked
Right.
like. They've never said that was from
But
that.
that was from Don and Candus that gave that to them.
Yes.
I mean.
And
okay.
According to WJHL here, apparently Pruitt told the reporter here that the last photo or the last footage of her was in the TikTok of her swimming. At least that's what he told the reporter was the last sight of her on the last picture or video of her. So he didn't even speak about the milk jug when she asked him.
Was Hunter driving at 16? Does anyone know? Anyone know?
I have no knowledge of this, but I could definitely see Candus letting him drive. You know what I mean? With the way that whole dynamic
Well,
was.
I mean, shit, if she'd let him drink, she'd let him drive, right?
That's what I'm saying.
But
I have no knowledge of that. That's just my
right.
what I think.
Why would a mother lie about the video? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. He was 15 when it happened.
Yeah.
He was 15, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't 16. I know you can get your driving permit here at 15, but you have to have an adult in the car.
Yes.
So was it? I don't. Hunter was, yeah, he was 15 when it happened. I don't know. It just stinks to me, and something's not right.
Yeah.
Something. This is the thing. People's like, oh, wow. You don't know. You don't know. Well, I do know that there's a lot of inconsistencies.
Yep.
And I do know that Don doesn't know times that is convenient for him not to know, but he knows that he was with his friend for an hour and 15 minutes.
And the biggest issue with that is not knowing when you leave doesn't make any sense because you probably leave at least around the same time every day. Most people go to
Yes.
work, unless you have a different schedule, you go to work about the same time. So you should know.
I can tell you what time I leave every morning.
Yep. And so he doesn't know something that's consistent, but then something that's inconsistent, which is somebody coming and talking to you for an hour and 15 minutes, which doesn't happen every day. You know
I
that.
look at the clock in my radio as I'm driving.
Yep. But he can remember a time that's something abrupt that came up that doesn't always come up, aka somebody coming and talking to him. But he can't remember something that's of a pattern, which is leaving for work every day.
Right. Which should be so easy to do.
Yeah.
And where does you know where Kathy lives?
No.
Okay. Does anybody know where Kathy lives? That is the day the Suburban was sold. What do you mean that was the day the Suburban was sold? The Suburban was sold when he was in jail. Candus was even saying they were in Grandis's truck because Summer had to sit on a pillow and not to get the seats wet in Grandis's truck. Yeah. I don't see Candus and Grandis being the type, here, sit on this so you don't get the seats wet.
Yeah.
When there's like freaking M&Ms in the seats.
Yeah.
And drinks and all that. I don't see them being the kind that really cares about cleanliness of their car. Maybe I'm just being judgmental on that, but it's just
well,
based upon what you see.
The last person I know that saw the Subaru said it was filled with fishing poles, boxes, pots and pans, and so
I remember that.
it doesn't really sound like they're concerned about what it looks like.
I remember that because you was there when there was a court, and you told me you was like, God, their Subaru was junked.
Yeah.
And this is when they don't have kids now,
right?
So imagine when they have kids. I mean, kids mess up your car. You got to constantly clean. That's because Don was in jail and Candus was going canoeing. It was really a pickup truck following the Suburban with the canoe they bought. I don't know, but I believe, in my opinion, that Suburban was used that day. At some point.
Yep.
At some point.
And the big thing is, too, why the switch? Like I said, if it's a normal day, I've never gone out for a day of errands or fun or anything and come home and been like, I'm going to take my mom's car for the rest of the day. In the middle of the day, come all the way home to switch cars.
And it's a ways away from like the Walgreens and the hospital to their house.
Right. Everything's pretty close to where everywhere they went was pretty concentrated, but going all the way home is what's out of the way, which makes no sense because the swimming hole is down the road there from the Walgreens, and then the price list is right there and all the other little shops they went to. But home is what's far away. So why pass everything that you're going to go all the way home just to get the truck, come back to town, get groceries, and then go back home?
Yes, killer. And to me, that explains why I don't believe any of us know even close about this timeline, to be honest with you, about what happened. I think we know that they went to Walgreens, they went to the hospital, they went to Alley's, but they, if we believe the guys at the horse pond, there was a vehicle that they left there all day.
Yep. And I believe him. I don't think there's why do they have a reason to lie?
I think Don, I don't believe Don was at work all day.
No.
He was not at work all day, in my opinion.
Well, if you notice, the only concrete thing that puts somebody there seeing him that he's brought up now is the very end of the day, somebody talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can place him earlier.
Yeah.
And at that point, whatever happened could have been done. Yeah, you're at work then talking to your friend, but what if you left earlier and whatever took place then you having that alibi at work means nothing.
Oh, and he said something in an interview. I don't know if it was this interview or not, but he said, yeah, we've taken, I've gotten off work and, been like, we all went to the lake afterwards and stuff with, I think he said the canoe or something like that. I see you, or that girl probably knows. It's just not right. It is just not right. It's just that simple. And it's just convenient. Absolutely convenient that he doesn't know the times.
Neither of them.
Well, that's the thing, Green Eyes. I have not heard of one person do an interview that said, yes, I know for a fact Don was at work at this time to this time. Have you, Trevor?
I've never heard that, no.
No.
The only person from work that we've even heard from is Dudley, and he fired him the day before.
Exactly. The day before Summer went missing. And that's, yeah, that would be true, Green Ass. No, you haven't. So, I mean, personally, I don't take Don's word for anything,
No.
to be quite honest with you, because Don is, no one was working with him that day. Yeah, that's exactly right, that girl, because he was yitching about he had to do it himself and still had to pay Dudley the money, that he didn't have no help.
See, I wonder if that buddy that was there, I wonder if he called someone to go talk to. If this is true that he talked to someone, I wonder if that was part of an idea that, well, if I can place myself talking to someone for an hour, then that's my alibi for the day. But it's not. It's an alibi for an hour and 15 minutes.
Yes. Leslie Earhart said a lot of interesting things, but A, this case is outside the norm. B, that Summer Wells went missing in, what did she say? Mid-afternoon?
I think she said early afternoon.
Early afternoon, sorry. And early afternoon is considered 1 to 3 o'clock.
Yep.
A call doesn't go in till 6:30.
So you just left your child missing for 5 hours before you decided to tell anyone?
Yeah, 5 hours. That's exactly right.
And Leslie, I don't think Lawson would slip up either, but Leslie is very careful with what she says. So when she said that was 100% what they have come to believe. Yes. It wasn't like she just answers questions and then is like, oh crap, I shouldn't have said that. She is very careful with what she says, and she's very calculated, I feel like, with her comments.
Yes. Yeah, I did that, the early afternoon live. I was like, well, she said early afternoon, guys, and then I did the early afternoon, and it, according to the time, early afternoon is considered 1 to 3. Now, it's very convenient that Dawn's phone, Candus's phone, Grandis's phone were all magically erased from 3 onward. Right?
Yep.
It's not like they just make a copy, which is what they freaking do.
Yeah.
They make a copy.
And see, that came up last night on Josh's show, and Brandy Neal was in there, and she said that everyone that she knows, and that in Michael's case, that had their phones taken, including hers, nobody's had any time erased. And she listed way more people than 3.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. And, I mean, Brandy said they even took her router.
Yep.
I mean, come on. I mean, this is the thing. After all of these things that we do know, right? How can people not side eye them at least and be like, why can't you answer these? I don't understand it. With their, I mean, it's like with their Don's criminal history, their track with managing their children, and the drugs,
Exactly.
the sex, and the rock and roll that they were it wasn't like to pick up an extra vehicle from Don. Go to the beginning, listen to Justin for. Yeah, I'll ask her for that. I can't do that right now. But Don, what was he saying in that vet girl? Can you drop a link? Yeah, drop a link for Killer's channel. It just doesn't. I believe that they parked that a car, a vehicle, or left a vehicle there at the swimming hole.
Yep.
But this is the good thing about it. At right when you go into that park, there's cameras there.
Yep.
Seen it with my own eyes. I've got it recorded here on my channel when I was there at the Walgreens. I mean, at the very end of that road, there's a 4-way intersection and then the Walgreens.
Yep. And Kingsport's good for even having red light cameras, a lot of them for to catch people if they run the light. So they've got cameras everywhere.
I don't know, but all I know is I don't believe them.
No.
Raising money for a trip, yeah. Trip maybe on drug. Maybe the vehicle damage. Well, that's exactly right. And Don and Candus should know that whether it was erased or not, look at the Murdoffs. Very good point, Ruth Ann. It's still going to be on there. They can erase it till the cows come home, but it's still going to be on the phones. They can still get it.
Right. And come a potential trial, deleting it from their end only hurts them.
Oh, it just, yeah, of course, because it shows intent.
Yeah. And it shows deception. Why do that if you're innocent?
Why no call at 911 at 5:30? Why no call when she went missing in the early afternoon, 1 to 3? Right. Right. That's the thing. I mean, you're not calling at a minimum, at a very minimum of 3.5 hours. From 3 to 6:30. At a maximum, what is it, 6.5 hours?
And you're convinced she was abducted. So you're going to let the abductor get about 3.5 hours away before you call?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
You can give him a head
You're
start.
convinced she was abducted. Think about this, guys. Think about it. They're convinced she's abducted, but she went missing in early afternoon, 1 to 3 o'clock. But yet, they're going to let them get on down the road. Make it make sense.
Good luck making it make sense.
Yeah, because if they can actually make it make sense, they'll impress me. Nobody, listen. Trevor, you have been on Ben Hill Road. I have been on Ben Hill Road. The only way you know someone lives up there, you can't see the house.
No.
When there's leaves and everything. It's just bullshit.
I didn't even know the house. When I first went down to the command post that week, I didn't even know the house was up there. I knew it was where the road was because they had it road blocked, but I didn't even know where their house was. And
Yeah.
that was after we knew the address, where it happened, what was going, like, that was when everything was publicized. Imagine before that, trying to figure out there's a house up there and knowing there's a kid there and knowing she just got home and knowing she's going to be at the basement door. Cut it out. It didn't happen.
Yes. Annabelle, so true. Such a great comment. There's a huge reason the 911 calls have not been released. Also, a huge reason the parents have not been cleared. Bingo. You can't clear the parents, specifically Don. You can't clear him after nearly 2 years when he was at work, right, Don? You was at work. So if you was at work, they should be able to say nothing to do with it.
Yep. But see, they can't
Tracy.
got a timeline. So unless you could place him at work, since the parents can't even give a real timeline. So then at that point, unless you could place him at work that whole time, then you're out of luck because you don't even know when it happened because the parents won't give a complete or accurate timeline.
Yeah.
Everything comes back to them, whether they just lied or whether they did something, but it's coming back to them because the timeline, the deceit.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. You could, someone's talking about Dudley in here. You could say Dudley did it. Okay. Tell me why they didn't call for 3.5 to 6.5 hours when you know that she was taken. Exactly. You can't. Because there's no good reason. There's no good reason.
Well, see, Dudley probably had an actual alibi too.
Absolutely.
And people have to think it takes a lot more. It takes a lot out of someone to go take someone's child. Yes, he fired him, but there's way more that has to go into that than you just being fired. You have to be way off the deep end of a person to be like, he fired me, I'm going to go take his kid.
And it's not going to happen the next day.
No.
That would make it so obvious.
Yeah. You'd be screaming, I did it.
Right.
You that was looked into because that's an obvious, I mean, it's that obvious. Everybody's going to be like, he fired a guy the day before. Let's make sure he didn't do it.
Bingo. Yes. Exactly.
And also then, even if Dudley, okay, how would Dudley then know that Summer was going to be home right at that time? and that she'd be back there at the basement door. How does
Yeah.
anyone know this stuff? It's not plausible. She
Yes.
she wasn't somewhere where she could be seen, so they had to have known. And there's no way to just magically know these things.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm sure that they checked Dudley out very good.
Yep.
And have certainly checked his, car data box and all of that, right? GPS and all that.
Oh yeah. Be a person.
Southern girl thing. Justin, there have been many children found in Mexico in the last week from Tennessee and all over. Okay. Tell me why she didn't. I mean, do you have any examples? And how long were they missing for? Were they missing for 2 years? And was their parents also lost all of their kids previous to this and have a track record of drugs and everything and didn't call the 911 for 3.5 to 6.5 hours? Then we'll talk. I mean, like, I get it, but they instantly knew she was taken but didn't call anyone for that long. And who is going to know that they are up there?
And that, how is that person going to also know or not know that there were 3 boys there alone for all that time, but then know that there's a little girl there after? So you don't know the boys were there all day, but you know that there's a little girl there for that short amount of time, and you're going to go up there.
I don't think she was sold. I just don't think she was sold. Personally. Parents on abducted children go on TV and plead for their children. Absolutely. I mean, you look at the Idaho 4, parents up there, doing interviews with Fox and stuff. You can't even get Candus to come out for Ansley Daniels. She writes a freaking note.
Right, and I believe it was it Kaylee's dad that was calling out police and saying they needed you more?
Yes, because they want their kids.
Right.
They want their kids, and they want them to be, hey, clear my ass. Let's get on with the show.
Right. But with those parents, it was always most important. What was most important was always their kids. It was never about them. They were always up there saying, we need to find out who did this and what happened to my kid. I need justice for my kid. Say what you want about me, because when you put yourself in that limelight, you're going to subject yourself to people. There's plenty of people that have said things about Kayla's dad because he went on there and spoke out a lot on news, but he did not care because he's going up there for his daughter, not for himself.
Yes. And this is the thing. They should be able to tell their times like that. Like that. It's that simple, especially if she was abducted.
Yep.
But conveniently they don't,
That's when time matters the most, is an abduction.
From what I understand, the TB said, get your timeline straight.
Yep.
That's an interesting comment. Law enforcement isn't working fast. We meet with law enforcement every week and nothing. Kaylee's dad. Yes, that's what Kaylee's dad said. They're not working fast. We need, and this is the thing. And this is the thing that keeps me hopeful with Summer as well. They knew exactly who it was and was tracking him for weeks. And we didn't know about it. And we was frustrated with police.
Yeah.
So hopefully the TBI, are just putting their stuff together. I pray to God.
I think they know. They don't know exactly what happened, obviously, but I think they have their idea just like we do. The problem is, we can
Mhm.
say it without proving it. They can't. They can't come out and say, "Well, the parents did this, but we can't prove it yet." It has to be the opposite. They prove it and then tell you what they think happened.
Yes. This is an excellent point, Vet Girl. The card team is not there anymore. We went over what the card team was.
Mhm.
They are a very, very specialized uh, sect of the FBI that goes and finds missing kids. They have a 90% success rate. They weren't at the wells very long because they realized this was not an abduction. No abduction here. They don't. It's very simple.
Right. And see, so I find it hard to believe that they get 90% success rate with these cases, but this case they couldn't. They they were wrong. I just don't see them being wrong here. I don't see them being 90%
Mhm.
right and here being incorrect about an abduction. They wouldn't have said
Yeah,
there's no sign if they weren't confident.
they're a child abduction recovery team. That's what card means. Right? And they said there's no abduction here, or otherwise they would still be on this case.
And they would
The
have been
car,
very sorry.
yeah. No, go
They've
ahead.
been
Please.
very heavy at the beginning because that's when it matters. If there was foul play, the sad part is no matter how long the investigation takes, you're not getting Summer found alive. I mean, that's just the sad part
It's
of it. But with an abduction, you're you're racing against the clock. So if they really thought there was a good chance she was abducted, the FBI card team would have been there heavy for weeks for the first days and weeks trying to really find out where she is
yes,
because you can still find somebody alive if you do it quick enough.
yes,
But they left.
yes.
Why would a team with a 90% success rate at the highest level of law enforcement you can be leave if they weren't confident that there was no abduction?
That's exactly right. And this is the thing, they would still be there even today,
Hmm.
at least somewhat involved, but they're not, because there was no abduction, in my opinion. And in my opinion, it seems like the card team feels the same way. And I think Chris McDonough from the interview room talked about that as well. It's There's just a handful of card teams, like a handful, and it's broke down into regions. That way, they can be there quickly.
Right.
Um, I believe card team pushed Amber Alert, in my opinion. Um, well, the Amber Alert was issued first, actually, Flo, I believe, and that is when they activated the card team. Uh,
Yeah, according to Leslie, there was some new information that led to the Amber Alert. She obviously said she couldn't say what the information was, but they put out the endangered child alert that night that someone went missing. And then the next day in the morning, they put out the Amber Alert. And when she went to the presser that day, she said it was due to some information they got that led them to put out the Amber Alert.
um, I see you. I need you to text me what this is before, if you don't mind. Okay. Can y'all hear that?
No.
Can y'all hear that? Trevor?
I can't hear any. I just hear you.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. All right. Oh, crap. All right.
For so long, and the police checked him out over and over and over, and I kept asking him what, and they kept saying he's got a solid alibi, a completely solid alibi. But that don't mean he couldn't give somebody something to handle his business for him or whatever.
Yeah. There's always ways around things. I'm not saying that he is. I'm just saying, in our opinion, there's ways.
What Donald's saying when he says that there's nothing else they can do, what he's saying is right now he feels like their backs are against the wall, that they don't know where else to go, where else to look right now. They got to put it in God's hands.
Suspect for so long.
Okay, so when he's here. Oh, okay. He's talking about Dudley there. Let me play that again.
Long, and the police checked him out over and over and over, and I kept asking him what, and they kept saying he's got a solid alibi, a completely solid alibi. But that don't mean he couldn't give somebody something to handle his business for him or whatever.
Yeah. There's always ways around things. I'm not saying that he is. I'm just saying, in our opinion, there's ways.
What Donald's saying when he says that there's nothing else they can do, what he's saying is right now he feels like their backs are against the wall, that
and the police checked him out over and over and over, and I kept asking him what, and they kept saying he's got a solid alibi.
Okay, so Don is saying, in his own words, that the police checked him out thoroughly and that he has a solid alibi. You know who they haven't said has a solid alibi? Don.
Right. And here's the thing. If he was told by police that they believed his alibi and he was cleared, even if they wouldn't come out and say it publicly, he would say it. There's nothing he won't go on and talk about.
Yeah.
I know. I 100% believe that if they told him that, even behind the scenes, he would say it. We would know.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, Candus was driving green Suburban with canoe. Who has a green Subaru? Their Subaru's red. The day she was sold it. That was allegedly the day she sold it in canoe. Law enforcement said for people to... Yes. Someone have handled it. That's why I think he is speaking technically about himself, about having someone handle his business or help. Well, I mean, listen. With Monkey, they cleared the parents. The parents was shoulder to shoulder with the police the entire time. And they have went into a house and dug up an entire yard and know that human remains was at that property at one point. And the investigation continues, right? I mean, they they've cleared the parents. They have never cleared Don, Candus, and Grandis. That's true, Batgirl. They spoke to law enforcement daily.
Because they had nothing to hide. They just
Yes.
want unfound.
Yes. Because they actually worked with law enforcement. Makes a difference. Makes a huge difference. No. Don and Candace, I mean, they had, and Dr. Phil barely got them to do the little that they did there. It was an ordeal to get them on camera.
Mm-hmm. And we saw how it went once they were on camera. She stormed.
I feel like they're interrogating me. A mother that knows that their kid has been taken away, interrogate me. Go for it. I know I'm innocent. Let's chop it up. Let's get it done.
Right. And from a, not that this makes anything any better, but from a pure, we'll just look at it from like a PR perception standpoint. If you are that upset and you start crying, stay on the show. You're gonna either decide to walk off talking about your daughter, or you can be a crying mother trying to answer questions about your daughter, which is going to look better on you. And you chose to walk off for yourself.
Yeah. That's an interesting point, Shannon. How come Dr. Phil didn't give them a lie detector test? They probably that'd be interesting. I would like to know if Dr. Phil asked them to do a lie detector test. That would be interesting. In my opinion, I don't think Candace ever completed her lie detector test. I don't think she ever fully completed it. And if she did, I guarantee you it wasn't done without substances in their system.
Exactly.
Because you can't even be on blood pressure medicine when you do a lie detector test. For it to read accurately, you can't even be on blood pressure medicine. You can't take anything.
Right. And see, TBI was very careful not to speak anything about the lie detector test. And that may just be their policy to never speak on them, because she said we don't discuss specifics. But I do wonder if they both walked in, took one test, and passed with flying colors, if law enforcement wouldn't have said they passed without question and we have no concern there. So I wonder, too, if there are at least some discrepancies or issues with the lie detector test, even if they didn't just flat out fail every question. But makes you wonder if there's more to it, which is why they can't say anything.
I agree.
Because why not give good news about the top? What everybody sees as the main suspects, the last people to see her, especially Candus, why not provide that out there? They used to say that the parents were cooperating. They were okay saying that. So I just wonder.
I see you. What did you say about earlier about the lie detector test? The criminals, the cases that passed the lie detector test and turns out they were like serial killers or something like that. Guys, mods, make sure you put Trevor's link in this chat so people can subscribe to him over there.
Some of the most famous serial killers passed. Ted Bundy passed a lie detector test.
Yes, Ted Bundy, several of them.
Oh, definitely.
So I think I see he was putting like the top 12 serial killers or something like that past them or whatever. And to be honest with you, in my opinion, when you are when you're a criminal and you constantly lie anyways, it doesn't bother you like it does a normal person either.
Right.
The Green River Killer. Yes, guys, please hit that thumbs up. I appreciate it. Yes, narcissist can pass lie detector test. Absolutely. is doing what she can. What was that thing you said earlier? I see you put it in earlier, but Summer swinging from her tree. That's the memory I keep. It's been way too long since Summer Moon got, yeah. Coming up on 2 years. Charles Colin, Angel of Death, passed 2 polygraph tests. Aldrich Ames, Soviet spy, passed polygraph. Yeah. I also want to know what kind of polygraph they did as well. Did they do a voice polygraph or a standard polygraph? Can you email that to me? I can't copy it from where I am in StreamYard. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong email address. There you go. We'll play that. According to H, the boys were with Don. LOL, so many stories. Well, that's the thing. In the beginning, it was the boys was with Don at work, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then, we've got that call of the dispatch saying Mom went for a walk, which could be mistranslated, but I don't think so because they are supposed to be very accurate on how they say things. Can you pass a test if you're taking their medication? You can't take any type of medications whenever, specifically anything that messes with your nerves or your blood pressure or mind, anything like that. Can't take it. There's a reason they're not admissible in court. Thank you, Smiley, for your cash app. Very kind of you, honey. Appreciate you. Our 911 calls not recorded. Those 911 calls are recorded, but they have not released them, which, in my opinion, has to be a big part of it, Trevor.
Definitely. I think that's when the discrepancies began. And I wonder if that is, and this is just completely my opinion, but I wonder if that's the new information. Something like that was the information that TBI got that concerned them with the story, which made them push to say, we're going to put an Amber Alert out because we really have no idea, because we can't 100% believe what we're being told. Because once they got there, they were, they go review, they get there, and then they start reviewing all that stuff, like the 911 calls, the stories, the dispatch call, the information they're given, and something led them to be more concerned. And I wonder if the 911 calls where the discrepancy started, and that's why it's still being sealed up.
Absolutely. Very possible. So listen right here. This is the interview room with Chris McDonough. Go mods, please drop Chris's channel. Chris has given these from very early on when Summer went missing, and we know more about this case because of these interviews than probably anything else to date.
We got to see the inside of their house because of these interviews. We would never
ever. Okay. Let's listen to this.
I mean, and then for him to sit there and say that he doesn't even make TikToks, I have on my phone personally, I can show you where he's made TikToks.
Okay.
Honest to God.
I hope you've given it to the officials, right?
No, actually, it's still on my phone. I haven't had a chance because I was going to talk to them Tuesday when I went back to town.
Okay,
I
got it.
got some business I got to take care of.
Got it. Roger that. So,
Okay, this was 2 weeks after. What, about 2 weeks after Summer went missing? 3 weeks, month, maybe. Something like July 26th. So over a month. Okay.
Who says that they're gonna go give it when they have time? I'm gonna give information to police when I have time.
Yes. I always love your perspective, Trevor, because everyone has something to offer. You know what I mean? We all think differently, and it's so good to put your minds together. So yeah, I haven't given him that phone. I haven't had time to go. My daughter's just been missing for 6 weeks now. Haven't had time to take it to him, but I'm going to tomorrow, whenever I get to town, because I got some things I got to take care of. That should be your top priority. The thing you got to take care of is finding your kid.
Mm-hmm. You got to go take care of some business. What business supersedes helping find out where your daughter is?
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, think about that, people. Think about that. Also, didn't after TBI take their phones and give them back, Don and Candus went and got new phones?
They did, yep. That was one of the first times they were spotted, in public. Somebody got a picture of them inside, I think, the AT&T store.
Yeah.
Buying new phones.
Yep. I think I don't think that they gave all the phones either, though. I think that there is at least one burner phone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. My opinion. You don't got to have a name on it or anything. You buy the minutes and you hit it's activated.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, see, if you're doing
good.
Sorry.
No,
if you're
please.
doing other kind of business, even outside of your kid, anything to do with illegal purchases, illegal substances, those kind of things, who's to say you don't have a burner phone for that too? Because we know he's paranoid about going back to jail. So who said he doesn't have a burner phone already to do those kind of transactions, and then had one for this occasion?
No, they're taking their time, Trevor, because remember, Don said, Chris asked Don, well, what do you think should happen to someone that does something to your daughter? Should they go to prison? I don't know, man. I've been to prison.
Right.
I don't know. I've been to prison. There's a few things that's always stuck out at me in this case, and there's always a few things that sticks out to all of us. That is one of them that will never get out of my head. And I don't know. It's just, you just can't get over it, And then Candus isn't in a hurry because she's got things to do tomorrow. So she's just going to conveniently wait until she has things to do.
Also, she says she's going to do that when she gets back in town. Where she's standing right there, she can be in town. Kingsport is where everything is.
Oh, well, that's true. You're right.
You're in
exactly
town.
Right. She is in town because where the lake is there, she's in town. It's
so what town is she going to? She's in town right now. She's not at home. He's not interviewing her at the house right now.
Very good thinking. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. This is where they were supposedly swimming that day.
Mhm.
So you're in town. Why are you waiting? And I would like to know, did she ever go give him that phone? Yes, Smiley. She passed right by.
Gave him a nice little wave, came right through town.
Yeah. Yeah, they were hollering abduction before they even got the search. Yes, that's Sullivan County where the horse pond is. That's in town. That's where they were that day, right? That's
Right.
where the hospital is. That's where the Walgreens is a couple miles from here.
Mhm.
I mean, you have to pass the Walgreens to get out of this place.
Yeah. And see, the thing is even though it's not the same county they live in, TBI covers the whole state. So if you had to meet them in town for something, you're going to meet them they'll meet you in the closest town, I would imagine. So when she says in town, I assume she means Kingsport, which is the town that she's standing in right there talking to Chris.
Uh-huh. And if she means town by Rogersville, that's where she lives.
Yeah.
So how about that? It's just always an excuse.
There's so many things that they've put ahead of her. It just blows my mind. I don't know if you even process to even imagine doing something that's more important, and then let alone saying it. Yeah, I've got some other things to do. Then I'll, give some information that has to do with the case of my, missing child. I'll get to it, It's like that's what I say about like responding to emails. I'll get to it. Not I'll get to turning information over to the TBI and FBI about my missing child.
Yeah. I'll get to my emails this evening or tomorrow when I get time. But your kids are your life.
Yeah. And your missing child who you believe was abducted. What's more important?
Exactly. I mean, I can't see it. I just can't see it. Let me see if there's anything else here. Oh crap. Oh,
From there, you go back to Hunter's house.
I drop him off.
Explain the milk. The picture of
the milk. It was sitting right there beside Summer.
Okay.
Because when I handed it to Hunter in the car, he was on the outside. Oh. I said, Hunter, put this on the other side of Summer. I just set it over there.
Okay.
And she was wide awake sitting up.
Okay.
Like she didn't go to sleep until after we left town.
Did she change clothes?
Yeah, I changed the clothes because when I have the windows down, it could be 100 degrees. I'll have all the windows up. Roll up the window, Mommy, I'm cold. And she not be cold, but I still do it.
Is that part of Summer's personality?
That's just Summer.
Tell me about Summer. I want to know about Summer.
She's a happy little girl.
Okay.
She's the best little girl anybody could imagine. Just like, well, I don't really want to say her name.
Yeah, don't say her name.
But, happy-go-lucky. Nothing ever brings her down hardly.
Mm-hmm. Today's a tough day for you, I can tell.
Yeah, it's really tough. It's been tough lately.
Tell me about that.
Well, every time I look around, I see her face.
Okay.
I don't know what else I can tell you.
Well, help me understand when you went home. Tell me about those dynamics that day. Take me back to that day. Yeah, on the way home.
On the way home, well, we were just sitting there talking, me and Mom, about everything pretty much. Trees, flowers, rocks, whatever.
Notice how when he asked her about going home, that's when she pulls her body away and breaks eye contact.
Mm-hmm.
Mom likes, pretty much we talked about. And I was like, what's Summer doing? She's like, oh, she fell asleep. I was like, oh, how's she sleeping? And when I look back, because I'm driving. And I looked back like this. She had her arms up like this, like her daddy sleeps all the time.
Okay.
So I wanted to catch that moment.
Okay.
You know, it's just things I do.
Right.
And I was like, here, Mom, hurry up, take that picture. And then she accidentally hit the video record.
Okay.
Instead of the picture part.
Okay.
So like, did you catch it? She like, no, I accidentally hit the video part.
That's what you get for handing Grandma the camera.
Yeah. Well, I was driving though.
Okay.
And I was like, did she put her arm back down? She's like, yeah. I was like, dang. And then she got a picture of her, but by that time her arm was down. But her arm was up most of the time like this.
Right.
And we were like 2 minutes from the house when she took her arm down.
Okay.
And then when we got to the house, we unlocked the gate, went up, and I woke her up. She got up, I unbuckled her, she got out of the car. We went and grabbed the boys from the house to come help us with the groceries.
Yep.
Because I always have them come help me do something.
And now, who was home when you got home?
My 3 sons.
Okay. And how old's your oldest?
He'll be 13 in September.
Okay. So was he babysitting?
Well, technically they weren't really, they were watching TV and sleeping at the same time.
Okay.
And I was just going to run out for a second, and we never even planned, I didn't even plan for Hunter to even be with us that day at all.
Got it.
He just called and was like, want to come over for a second? I was like, yeah, I'll come over for a second, but I got to get right back to Mom.
One thing, Trevor, you know how steep and bumpy that driveway is.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it was worse right when Summer went missing. I think someone put some rocks there or something for him.
Yeah.
And it's still bad. Don't you think Summer would have woken up going up that hill?
I would say so. I would have. And it's usually at least always for me, if you fall asleep in a car as a kid, once the car slows down or stops, it's usually when you wake up, because it's that whole that movement of the car that got you and you fell asleep.
Did she say she unlocked the gate? How did the abductor get out? Well, I guess what she's saying, I see you, is the abductor ran down the hill and onto the road, I guess.
And then flew away.
I would think that Summer would have woken up.
I agree.
That time. Yeah, Candus is no helicopter parent. She's not going. Sorry, not sorry. The woman is not going to walk Summer over from a camper to the house. You have no reason to walk a kid over 20 feet.
Yeah, why do that? It makes no sense. You're on your own property in the middle of nowhere. And you can see the house. I mean, just send her and know that she's going to get there.
You're not going to do that. You're not going to be a helicopter parent for that and then leave your kids, 3 boys, alone out there by themselves.
Exactly. So you're worried about your daughter walking 20 feet on your own property, but you're not worried about going all the way to town for the whole day and having a good old time and leaving your 3 sons unattended.
Right. During the time of COVID, whenever you have no idea how long you're going to be in the ER.
Right.
So.
And that was all it was a quick second thing.
Got it.
And he's like, Mom, can I go with them? I'm like sitting there shaking my head like this, and I was like, I don't care. So I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Hold on. So that was a quick second thing. So she goes to the ER. She goes to Hunter's house, goes back to, or goes to get the prescriptions, goes to the pond swimming, goes to the tobacco store, goes to the grocery store, and then takes Hunter back, and then goes back to their house. That's a quick thing. And yet she says time slips away when you're trying to have fun. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100% agree.
You pick up what I'm putting down. I mean, seriously. It's a quick thing, but you know, we were just trying to relax. You know, time just slips away when you're trying to have fun.
How do you even view, like, because all of this is coming afterwards. How does it even, like, cross your mind that this was fun? I get during the time it was probably fun, but the day your child went missing, nothing would seem fun because it all was the day that this terrible thing happened. It led up to what should be the worst moment of your life.
Yes.
So it's not fun anymore. Yeah, you went swimming, but then hours later, you couldn't find your kid.
Mm-hmm. Also, she covered H2. He wasn't supposed to come along. Don't believe that either. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then also, why do you leave your 3 boys there, but you take one of your kids and then take your friend's kid and you let them swim? But you was planning to fish that day.
Right. And what dynamic does Hunter fit into that makes that okay?
Precisely.
So you have hanging out with a 5-year-old, that's not okay. Or he's hanging out with a grown woman that could be his mom, or a grown woman that could be his grandmother.
Neither is okay. Neither is okay. And I mean, I'm sure the boys would have loved to went swimming or fishing.
Guarantee you, out of 3 boys, at least one of them would have wanted to do something like that.
Of course.
But you take Hunter instead. And then you freak out and call him or go see him or whatever after, you know, when TBI was starting to go do their rounds and talk to people. Why be concerned then too? Why ask him what he's going to say?
Say that again?
I was saying when she called and talked to him, when TBI was, or Hawkins, whoever was going to do interviews, and she was worried about what he was going to say.
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Why that? Why are you worried about what he's going to say? You were with him the whole time.
Right. If there's no harm, no foul, why are you trying to adjust the narrative to this? Doesn't make sense.
Okay. You know, I didn't even think nothing of it. You know what I'm saying? I always take them kids. Every time they call me and ask me to come get me, I always come get them because their mom don't do nothing with them.
Okay.
She just sits there.
That seems to be the difference between you and Allie. You guys have a difference in terms of what you say you do and what she says she does, right? There's always that. It seems to be a conflict.
Conflict somewhere.
Yeah. So, yeah, go ahead. Finish your
But
thought.
I'm always taking the kids like it was, I want to say like 3-4 months ago. I went over to Allie's and I asked Allie if she wanted her and the kids wanted to go up to, I want to call it Ducktown because that's where we planned on going, was Ducktown. And she's like, no, I'm going to sleep, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right. And I was like, well, can I go? And Allie's like, yeah, go ahead. So we took him up to Ducktown with us and stuff and brought him back, and everything was fine. I thought we were good friends, but I guess she's trying to get back at me for some reason. I don't know.
Those are reasons that
they're beyond me.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
And you know what? That's not for me, right? Let's let the authorities figure that out. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
That's why I didn't really want to do an interview, because I'm not trying to fight this,
right,
or say something that I say. Right. I'm not into all that game.
I'm here to help find your daughter.
I want to find Summer. I don't even care about anybody else's bullcrap. I want to find my daughter.
I do too. Okay,
that's all this matters to me.
I totally agree. I totally agree that I'm on that same page with you. All these people, I'm sure, are on the exact same page as well. I think you know that, right? Yeah. So walk me through when you got home.
Okay.
You unload the grocery. What exactly is going down there?
Well, I bring my kids out, and we all unload the groceries, but we all go in my house first because we sort out my mom's groceries from her groceries.
Okay.
We always do.
Yeah.
And we did that, and Mom walked back across, and me and Summer were putting groceries away, and watching TV off and on, and just chilling with the boys, hanging out, and then we decided to do some laundry, because my kids, they got 80 pairs of pants, 80 pairs, each one of them.
Okay.
So, doing laundry at my house is like
A job, right?
It's a job.
Right. Do you have a bulldozer?
No. Sometimes I wish I did.
Okay.
No, that's just joking.
Got it. That's okay.
But
You're doing laundry
and stuff, and kids are all sitting there watching TV, chilling. And I stepped down. I noticed Mom was sitting on the step, and her step is like literally from here to that tree, at my doorstep.
Okay.
I can literally walk over and be right there.
Okay.
And she's like looking around. I was like, "What's your problem?" She's like, "We got to get these plants transplanted into bigger pots."
Okay.
And she.
Now you're sitting on the front porch, or where you all?
No, I'm not sitting.
Are you in the house?
No. She's sitting on our camper step right there. And,
okay.
And the flowers are here on both sides.
Okay.
And I'm just standing there. We're just talking. And she's like, "We got to get these transplanted." And I was like, "All right, well." She goes, "Well, we know the boys ain't going to help because they don't like to do flowers."
Yeah, well, boy does, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, "But I know someone that will." So I ran back in the house and I grabbed Summer. She was sitting in the kitchen playing with her what are them? Little short guys with the big eyeballs.
Okay.
And I was like, "Summer, you want to plant flowers? Me and Grandma plant."
Is that the LOL things? Are they?
No, they're not.
Like
she didn't really like LOLs.
Okay.
She didn't care for those. No, I don't know what they're called. They're all kinds of different characters, like different animals, but they got big eyes.
Okay.
She liked them, so I bought them for her. And she was sitting there like, "Summer, you want to do some flower planting and stuff?" She jumped up faster than anybody I've seen jump up. She's like, "Pretty flowers?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go over to Grandma's and plant flowers." Transplant is what we did. And so we did that, and I don't know, it took us a while. Probably 30, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. I don't know. We're not real fast people. We don't.
Okay. Your Tennessee time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have a greenhouse. I grow plants. I plant a ton of plants. It's a freaking succulent in a pot. That takes you 30 or 40 minutes. You don't have to dig a hole with a shovel. It doesn't make sense, Trevor.
It was literally so far from flower bed that TBI had to correct what it actually is, because it was so just like minuscule. Because on their page they say that they're like, "Did you check the flower bed?" They're like, "There aren't any flower beds, but there are pots." So they literally were putting these things into these pots, and that takes that long.
30 to 40 minutes to put your hand in dirt, do this, drop a plant in, and cover it up. Now that takes 30 to 40 minutes. You might be slow people, but damn.
And here's my question. So you know how long you took to plant flowers when you were at home just hanging out, but you don't know how long you were at a place during the day when you had other things to go do.
Yes.
You don't keep up with time when you have errands to run and you're out with your daughter and someone else's kid and your kids are at home. You don't think about time then. But when you're at home with your family planting flowers with your mom, then you suddenly keep track of time.
Yes.
Okay.
When you're out, you're constantly looking at the time. Oh, I need to be here at this time. I need to be there at that time. Whatever. What time is it? Oh, I've been out for 2 hours. I need to get back home. Whatever. But about how much time it took to plant flowers, which was 20, 30, 40 minutes is what she said. And Sherry, you're right. It didn't look like anything was planted there. My opinion. There was weeds in it.
Well, wasn't anything planted afterwards. TBI dug into them, so whatever there is no longer.
Yeah. I mean, it's just... Yeah, Jesse, I said that earlier, which we were talking about. She said, "Oh, we don't want to keep. I don't really keep up with time when I want to have a good time." But then earlier, she said, "Oh, I was just going to be out for a minute. That's why I left the kids home. I told Hunter, but I said, she went to they went to the hospital, went over to Hunter's, went to a vape shop, went to pick up the prescription, went to the watering hole, and then went to the grocery store. But that was quick, right?
Yeah.
Just weird.
Sitting on a porch,
Chill.
drinking some sweet tea and just.
I don't drink tea.
Okay, but chatting around.
Yeah, just chat pretty much. Me and Mom drink Mountain Dew.
Okay.
That's what we do. We drink Mountain Dew.
Yep.
And the summer we got done, we washed our hands real quick, went in Grandma's house, and she asked Grandma for a piece of candy. She always does.
Okay.
And of course, Grandma gives it to her.
Sure.
And she wanted a piece of candy, so Grandma gave it to her. We were sitting there for about, 5-10 minutes maybe at the most. And she was, Mom, I want to go back to the house with my brothers. I was like, all right. So I got up and I walked her back across to where I could literally see her walking to my doorstep.
Okay.
And she
front door, back door?
No, I don't know if you want to call it the front door or back door because I don't really consist which way.
Which door is it? Yeah, in some of the pictures I see, there's a door around the bottom and the back.
Not the basement door. I call it the kitchen door is what I.
Just a quick thing here. Now, this, where the porch is, that's the front of the house, right? Is that the front of the house, Trevor?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, because the back is where it goes down the hill towards
the back is over here,
trees.
right? Like over where the air conditioner is on that side, right? Like it around that corner.
Right, because then it goes down the hill towards the trees and all that, and
right.
the supposed dog trail and everything.
This picture is taken pretty much in front of the camper. Is that correct?
It looks like it.
Yeah. So if she's taken a picture right there where the camper is, right? She wanted to walk Summer over to this door.
Right, and she even doubled down when she was just talking to Chris. She said, "It's from here to that tree, aka no distance, but you want to make sure you get her from there to there."
Exactly, but she'll leave 3 boys home alone all day.
Right, and that doesn't even make sense for a parent who actually does really care, and even as a helicopter parent. What other parent?
A helicopter parent, you wouldn't need to walk your kid there. You can see that they made it in the door.
Right. You hold your hand when your kid's walking through a busy parking lot.
Yes.
And they're walking from one part of the property to the other and within seeing distance.
No, that's the house.
I mean, there are 0 dangers between the camper and the house. Nothing is there. It's not a road. Nobody's going to come driving by.
I mean, other than the only hazard there is the stuff on the ground with the kids being barefoot all the time, right. And all that stuff.
But walking over there, of course, won't help that.
Yeah. So.
I call it. Okay. And she walked in there, and there's a scaffolding that we have for steps. The yellow and black scaffolding we have for steps. Okay. And I put my hand on the scaffold. I said, boys, watch Summer. I'll be right back. And I had to go over and help Mom. She was still sitting over there. And I had to go in and get her knee brace and fix it for her because it was twisted and crap.
Okay.
It took me like 5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not a time person. Never have been.
Okay.
And next thing I know, I said, Mom, I'm going back over with the kids, chill and hang out, whatever. And I freaking asked her brothers, well, where'd your sister go? She was just right here with you. Oh, she wanted to go play with her toys downstairs, Mom. I think none of them. That's where our room is. That's where her toys are.
Okay.
And after about a second, I didn't hear nothing down there. I was like, you sure she went downstairs? They're like, yeah, Mom, she went downstairs.
Okay.
And my boys do not lie to me. So I went around because.
So Candus says she asked are you sure she went downstairs? And then she makes it very clear, my boys do not lie to me. Nobody asked if nobody asked if the kids lied to you. She had to make that clear. The boys don't lie to me.
Mm-hmm.
They don't lie.
Because my stairs, my husband calls it a bar, but it's not really a bar. I call it a mess. It's we built it over the staircase. I guess you could call it a bar, but it's not really a bar because we don't drink that much. So, but it was like where we put our TV stand and stuff.
Okay, that bar, whatever you call it, it goes over the stairs, and it's really a cluster, you know what, that goes down into the dungeon, aka the basement. So that's what she's talking about, if you've ever seen it. If not, you need to see Chris McDonough's video of the house. Go over there and watch that. It's a quite to behold.
Like that. And I walked around because that's where the steps are hidden up underneath there. And I said, Summer. And she didn't answer me. I said, Summer, are you down there? And she didn't answer me. So I ran down the stairs pretty much. I was freaking out. I was like, why is she not answering me? And I looked I just went, I blew up. I went everywhere looking for her. So I couldn't find her nowhere.
Now, question, would you freak out if your kid just didn't instantly answer you? You know?
No, I mean, there's plenty of...
are you going to instantly freak out? You're going to be like, well, where'd they go? Are they asleep? Are they hiding? You know, or like where? But you're not going to instantly freak out.
And it's like, there's plenty of things. I mean, I remember plenty of times as a kid where I was just annoyed at my parents, and I would just ignore them if they called for me. Not because I was missing, but because I was mad. So I wasn't going to say anything.
Exactly.
So who's to say Summer didn't just, get annoyed and just not respond to her mom?
Exactly.
You should, once you get down there and don't see her, yeah, you may freak out. But when you just don't hear her call back, who's to say she's not, in a corner of the room where she can't hear you, or something's going, anything. She just doesn't want to respond to you, can't answer you. I don't know. But nothing that's like, you don't automatically go, she's gone.
Right. Someone abducted her.
And it's like the stories that, it's like some of the parts of the stories are so detailed, but then you get some where she has to fill in things so generic, where it's like, we did 100 things before I sent her in the house. But then once she's in there, it was like, I called her name, didn't hear her, I freaked out. Like, those parts are so quick. But then you get the points where it's like, we planted flowers for this amount of time, we were doing this, and I walked her back. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me.
Okay. Then what happened?
She was just gone.
Okay.
She was just gone into nowhere. And I started tracing the property, going everywhere I could. I sent my boys down through we live on the hill, so it was down by the creek. I sent them all down through there looking and everything. I said, still didn't find her? And they said no. So I ran over and I freaked out. I called Donnie because that's what I do automatically. I freak out,
You called Donnie?
I called Donnie. I said, I cannot find Summer. Come home now. He's like, call the cops. So I threw my phone down on the back of his pickup, ran over to my mom, picked up her phone because it's the only one that gets out there is AT&T.
Okay.
So I picked up her phone.
Okay, a couple things right there. I have AT&T. Now, they live up way on a hill. Down next to the road, I have AT&T. I had 0 bars, by the way. But the second thing is, if you instantly thought like she was abducted, why would you send your boys over the hill when there's an abductor on the loose?
Right, and why would you call if you think she's abducted, why call anyone, even your husband, before you call the police?
Right.
That order doesn't make sense.
Right.
Obviously, you want Dawn to know, but no, not just Dawn, but any parent that's that far away can't do anything. Dawn can come home, but he can't, he's not the police, just like any of us aren't. So call the authorities, get them out there, so they can start figuring out what happened. And then right after that, you call your husband or family or friends or whoever you want to come out there.
Exactly.
Yes, he needs to know, but at the same time, it's like if you're that concerned that she's been taken, call the police so they can find her.
Yes. Precisely.
I said, I cannot find my daughter. And they sent people out, and I wasn't just going to stand there and wait for them to send people out.
Right.
I jumped in my mom's truck, and I went down the driveway as fast as I could. I went everywhere I could possibly think, every road which way. I didn't see no cars. I didn't see nobody at all. And I was like flipping out. I was a hot mess, so you call it.
Okay.
It makes no sense. The only thing that can come to my mind is that somebody snuck up there in that yard and took my baby girl.
What are the odds of that?
What are the odds of that?
From your perspective?
It happens all the time, all the way around the world.
I'm not questioning that it happens. I'm just asking you from your perspective and your property living up there as long as you have, Candus, right? What are the odds that happened? Take a guess.
50-50.
Okay. What would be the 50% that it didn't happen? What are the other possibilities?
I have no idea.
Okay. Could she have walked away and fallen?
Knowing my daughter?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. What's in your heart today in terms of what gives you hope and what do you hold on to? I mean, you've been around the block a couple of weekends, okay? I mean, so have I. And I think what you're telling me here, I have no reason to disagree with you. You know what I mean? I mean, there's going to be a lot of he said, she said, and you know, and I know, no matter what, okay? No matter what,
In my heart, I believe, now this is just the way I feel.
I respect that. Totally respect that.
I feel that somebody has got her hid out somewhere.
Okay.
And is keeping her away from us.
Help me understand why that's in your heart.
Okay, first off, I didn't know how many sex offenders lived around me that were only 8 minutes from my property.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Right.
And another, my daughter never goes out into the woods because we've taught her there's dangerous snakes, there's bears, there's packs of dogs, there's coyotes, there's everything magical out there in the woods that can hurt you.
Okay.
I've even taught my boys that.
Okay.
And I have never stressed that enough. I tell her.
Whoa, okay.
What are you thinking?
She said that she's convinced at that point that somebody has her hid out. So that would mean that she thought she was out there alive. How many public pleas did she make then? If she was convinced in her mind that her daughter was out there alive, why did she not go out and make a plea for her child to be returned? She just said she thought she was alive. She said she's hid away somewhere. That's my thought. She's hid away somewhere, meaning she's alive. So why aren't you going on the news and pleading for her return? If you in your heart think she's alive, you're just going to wait until that's not the case any longer?
Yeah. Exactly.
And what's this 50-50? What are the odds she was taken out of your yard? 50-50? What?
Yeah, 50-50. In my opinion, there's less than a 1% chance.
Definitely. But I mean, the statistics even in a other kind of situation, 50-50 is not anywhere close. And it's even lower with where they live and the whole geography that we've talked about. But regardless, stranger abductions are way less than 50%.
Oh, way, way less than 50%. I mean, I think it's 90% that it's normally the parents or someone familiar with the family.
Someone the child knows, yeah. Or that knows who the child is.
Yes. It's literally, I think ICU knows the statistics on that. She was looking it's 1%.
1%, yeah.
It's 1% that someone is abducted by someone they don't know, and has. And just to be honest with you, Ben Hill Road, if you didn't know where it was, you would pass it and not think nothing of it.
Right. Well, like I told you, I passed it and I knew it was there because we knew that's where they lived. When I first went down there, I passed by, didn't even have a clue that's where their house was. I didn't know there was a house up there until I saw the police blockade, and I was like, okay, that must be where they live.
2.9% abduction rate.
Right, and that covers everything, including like suburban neighborhoods where you can see a kid standing outside. Imagine.
Oh yeah, suburban, city, everything, absolutely. But this little back road, and then off of another, really country road, and on top of a hill in the middle of nowhere, when 3 kids are home alone all day. Think, people. Yeah. And then she's talking about pack of dogs, wolves, bear. Listen, if an animal excuse me, if an animal gets, trust me, they leave evidence, a lot of it. It's not a pretty sight.
Right.
And if she would have ran off, I believe they would have found her by now. A, and B, the child is going to take the path of least resistance. They're not going to, plus they've only got so many calories that they can burn out before they lose all energy.
It was like that little boy in Florida when he walked away, JJ. He wasn't found walking, he was found laying down.
Yes.
Because he was, you get you're tired. Either you fall, you get tired, God forbid, but you get hurt. Something, you're not just going to keep walking like you're on a forever marathon.
98.7% success rate, feds familiar abduction. Yeah. That's if they've been abducted.
Mm-hmm. That every day.
Right.
And she would never, ever go anywhere than that swing that's on that tree.
Okay. Yeah, tell me about that swing. Is that her favorite? I love those videos you put up showing her just having an absolute blast. That's a blast. What about this call allegedly that Hunter says came in? Well, he said there was a call that Dawn made to you while you were in line at the prescription. Did that happen?
He called me and asked how everything was going.
Okay.
And how soon we were going to be home.
Okay. Hunter relates that he mentioned to you that Dawn had said something about somebody around the property.
I just caught something there. Why would if Dawn is working?
Why does he care when they get home?
Yes. Ask me when he's going to be home. You're working, dude.
Why
are you asking when I'm going to be home, Henny? Why? He said also, Hunter, according to Hunter, he said that, and I believe Hunter with this, that Dawn called and said that there was someone up there trying to touch little kids inappropriately. How would Dawn know? How would Dawn know? Hunter has no reason to lie about that. And also Hunter, which I think is incredibly weird. I think it's it questions the relationship, in my opinion, between the two, that Hunter was searching through her phone.
Yeah.
So, why are you asking when she's going to be home? You said you was going to stay at work later that day, Dawn. Remember?
Is that true?
That is so.
Okay.
Sorry to say, but that's a bunch of bullshit.
Okay. All right. Okay. And so where is?
I don't mean to get upset, but when something
you're
like that,
here's the good news. Okay. This is your daughter.
I know where my husband was.
Okay, but you have every reason. Don't apologize.
No, I'm just.
Okay.
Don't apologize. Me so mad that
I mean, the fact that you're wearing mom patrol.
That somebody could stand there and lie.
She says, I know where my husband was. I know where he's at.
Because they take each other's word for gold.
Particularly when neither one of them trusts each other to begin with.
Right.
People lie.
And now they trust each
Law
other.
enforcement to everybody. It makes me so mad that it just makes my blood boil.
Right. So she disappears.
I don't know what else to say.
What are the possibilities in your mind? I know what your heart's saying. Your heart's saying she's with somebody right now. How would we know how to connect that dot? You and me.
Well, like, for instance, that Dobbs guy that was supposed to be camping across at my neighbor's house.
Right.
He was there that same time. And then Tony Hammonds, whoever the hell he is, he was down through there.
Who was there when you got home?
There was nobody there. There was my mom mentioned the blue van across at my neighbor's house, but I just figured she had company.
Okay.
I didn't know about that was the guy that was trying to move in there. I didn't know that at the time.
Okay.
And so I didn't think nothing. I just figured it was neighbors. I had visitors.
Okay.
You know, I didn't think nothing about that. I gotta stop. I can't do no more. I gotta have a cigarette. Sorry.
No, good. Light it up.
I just don't.
Light it up,
no,
girl.
I don't want to breathe in.
No. Go blow it. Go. I'm not gonna. Don't worry about me. You should see me drive. I'm a mess when I drive.
You can't drive with that.
You got a lot going on, Candus. I respect you. I'm sorry that you're having all this problem. And no matter what we say, you or me, somebody's going to question
Like,
it.
it doesn't matter what I say or do or try to prove to people. Somebody's always going to twist my stuff.
Right.
Don't need to twist it. That's for sure. It's self-evident.
And for that one woman to go on there that works with Allie, she don't know me and my kids. She don't know what they do every day. Most of my boys were here. They tell you.
I've seen a lot of your pictures.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes. You know what I mean? That speaks a lot. That says a lot. Nobody's perfect, though, right?
No, I'm not perfect.
I'm not perfect by any means, shape, or thought.
Never have been perfect. Never meant to try to be perfect.
And me neither. I mean, you.
I am a person just like you.
Yep.
Or your wife.
That's right.
That person out there on that jet ski.
That's right.
I'm no different than anybody else.
We all make mistakes. There's no question about that. No question about it.
I can't even enjoy life without my kids.
Help me understand what you mean by that.
Like how these guys are out here having fun with their family and stuff. I can't even go in that water and pretend to even have fun because what's the point? She's not here to enjoy it with.
You know, I lost a son.
Yeah, you were saying that.
I know that hole. I know there's a depth of pain that nobody understands until you have been in that hole. Okay? And
I've been in this hole twice now.
Help me understand that.
Well, once when my mom called me and said that they couldn't find my little sister Rosie.
Okay.
When she disappeared. And that was heartbreaking. But my daughter, that's twice as worse.
Right.
You might as well just rip my chest out, throw it out there for the fish to eat, because it's worthless without her. I try to be strong for my boys. I try to have hope. I just, I don't know what to do. I feel like everybody is against me.
It's all right. You wanna rest for a minute? You wanna take a break for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah. Take your time. Nobody else is here. They're all gone. Everybody left. You know, the world today is so different than it used to be even 10 years ago, because of, people can get on, this little device and say, he's lying, she's lying, he's this, that, and they do it about me too. You're right. It's just so out of control almost.
I've really never seen so much hate in my life until now.
I believe it.
Honestly.
I believe it. I believe it. Because I think everybody wants to help, but they don't know how to help. So when they hear indiscrepancies, okay, automatically what is that? Oh man, don't get stung on me now. You'll be blaming me for a bee sting. But they don't know how to help, or they want to help. And then of course there's one discrepancy on YouTube or wherever, and next thing you know it just gets crazy. I mean, I've had people say, oh, you paid Hunter to talk to him. Seriously? Am I paying you? No.
I don't want your money.
And I wouldn't offer it. Okay.
I don't want nobody's money.
I'm not here for that.
My daughter.
I'm here for that reason. That's why I'm here. Okay. That is why I'm here. I'm not interfering with the investigators. I'm letting them do.
I'm not either. I'm going to let them do their job.
I'm let them do their thing.
Do their job.
Let them do their thing.
That's all.
Okay. And you came down here on your own to walk me through.
She's letting them do their thing, but she's not really cooperating, according to Ronnie Lawson.
She's just letting them do their thing too. She doesn't care enough to be involved in it. She's just letting them do it. Well, I'll let them do their thing. I'll just, do my thing.
Yeah, I'll drop that phone off tomorrow. It's only been 6 weeks since my daughter's been missing at this point right here. I'll drop it off.
Yeah, they have my number. They know where to find me.
Yeah. Yeah, Ansley Daniels outside with my mom. I'll write her a letter. I'm not coming out though. Yeah, there's people, all big news sources that would like to speak to me. No, I'm not going to speak to them. No, I'm good.
They do their thing. They can just do their thing.
It's ridiculous.
And they pitch this narrative that people discuss them just because we picked some people out of the bunch to hate on. She's like,
the last people you want it to be is the parents.
Right.
That's the very last, because that makes, in my opinion, the most evil.
Right.
To do that to your own children, whatever that is. This is the thing I've always said, which I do believe they are involved in it, in my opinion. Anyone else can have a different opinion. That's fine. But even if they didn't do this directly. They were not good parents.
No.
And that is that. I mean, she's, you know, and you don't ever hear her talking about her other kids that she had either. You know, I don't, you know, she never talks about the kids that she had before, how she misses them and stuff. And I know the stories about her previous other kids directly from a source, I'll just say.
Yep.
I know exactly the way her and her ex treated those kids. And I'll just tell you this, in my opinion, Summer and the boys were treated better.
Yeah.
You would be surprised. Maybe you'd be surprised, maybe not, but this is almost over.
Yes, sir.
I credit you for that. I respect you for that. Okay? And somebody's going to find something wrong with it, though.
Of course they will.
I'm giving you a heads up. Okay?
No, I already know this.
All right. I'm just telling you. Okay.
That's how the world is today.
It is. Now, the other side of that, okay, is if there is a suspicious person or somebody like that now you mentioned, or Don, I can't remember in the first interview, Don had mentioned that on the news, he mentioned that he thought that she was abducted. How did that conclusion come so quickly? Help me understand that.
Because she never wanders.
Okay.
She always stays right there by the house, right there by the swing.
Okay.
She'll go to grandma's, but she'll be right back to the house.
Okay.
She'll never leave the house. She'll never go out of my sight.
Okay. So what did you tell Dawn at work when you called him?
I just said she was missing. I can't find her. That's all I said.
Do you remember where he was that day? What job site he was on?
I believe he was in Jonesboro at the Meadows, I believe.
Okay, and he's hanging drywall?
No, he's finishing drywall.
Okay, so he's a finisher.
Yeah.
Okay, a taper.
Yep.
Got it. And do you help him?
Well, I tried to help him yesterday, but I just...
Yesterday when I called you, is that where you were working?
Yeah,
you told me you were working, and you said you were going to go to church.
Hey, Trevor?
Yep.
Oh, hold on. Will the speakers work? Okay, my my computer froze. Hold on a minute.
Your camera's working from your computer. You're up here.
I know that part's working, but nothing else is. So it was the end of the interview anyways, and I've been on here 3 hours almost. So thank you all so much. I appreciate it. 2 Justins, yeah. One's frozen. All right, guys. Thank you, Trevor, for coming up. When are you going live?
I'm going live tonight, but I'm talking about a different case. I had a family reach out, little girl from Georgia, but I'll be back on Summer's case probably Wednesday.
Well, regardless, guys, please drop Trevor's link again. And subscribe to Trevor. Trevor has been there on Summer's case, literally on the ground since what, day 1 or 2?
Yeah.
So there you go. I just fell off the other one. So yeah. So make sure you subscribe to Trevor. Thank you, Robin. Thank you all. Thank you to the mods, people who donated, gave memberships. Appreciate it very much. I will see you guys maybe later tonight. I don't know yet. I have some more stuff that I'm going to be putting out. So I appreciate you all. Again, Trevor, thank you so much. A lot of people subbed, they said. So
Well, I appreciate having me.
I'll, of course, I'll try to put Trevor's link for people playing the replay, that they can subscribe if you go down to the subscription, or down to the description rather, for the replay crew. So, all right. Thank you all. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.